2005, the best Astros teams of the years past were able to win games in a variety of ways. Now, in 2015, Jose Altuve and the Astros are jumping in the time machine and erasing recent disappointments one win at a time. Today, they'll try to do something no Astros team has ever done before. A chance at history. Coming your way next. Then there was one. 10 days ago, the Houston Astros embarked on a 9-game West Coast trip. 8 games later, the now first-place Astros have gone a very impressive 7-1. And the lone remaining contest is in the more than capable left hand of staff ace Dallas Keuchel. Hi, everybody. Alan Ashby and Jeff Blum with you. We have been together on one glorious road trip right now. And now we go to a, Wednesday, Throwback Wednesday, Way Back Wednesday today, as the Padres will be wearing some very special-looking brown uniforms. The Astros were to wear the rainbows, but should be a fun day out there.
Sounds like your kind of day out here, Ash. Should be a good reminiscing throughout the course of this game.
Well, let's go ahead and reminisce a little bit as we look back to 1986. The last time the Astros went 9-2 as they began the season on the road. Mike Scott had some really good stuff going. We also had Terry Poole running down everything in right field. Jose Cruz breaking from line to line. There were some very good players on that club that wound up going into the postseason. Joe Negro was throwing knuckleballs that only Patrick Waugh behind the dish could handle. And it was just a lot of fun stuff going on. So, as we look to yesterday, a lot of offense for the Astros.
A lot of offense, and that explains why that record is so good right now. 7-1 on the current trip, and you see that bottom line. They have never gone 8-1 on a 9-game road trip like this. But a lot of it's due to the fact the offense is tearing the cover off the ball right now. Any and every mistake that is thrown out over the plate, the Astros are up to the challenge, barreling it up, driving into the gaps, and that's what's leading to so many runs being scored. And not to mention what they've been doing late in these ball games to add, just pile on these teams.
Coming up, the Astros have been road warriors early in 2015, punctuated by the intensity of their fiercely competitive pitching ace. How good has Keuchel been on the road recently? We'll break it down next. The Astros have come in and just laid it on the San Diego Padres. First couple of games, they've won 5 consecutive, have the Astros 7 of 8 on this road trip, playing great ball, and now Dallas Keuchel, who has been spectacular anywhere he goes out on the mound for Houston.
Yeah, we just hinted at the offense, how well they're doing, but today's pitching performance is powered by Kubota, and it's Dallas Keuchel, the Road Warriors. We look at what he's done on the road in 2015. 2 road starts, 1.13 ERA. Last time out in Oakland, he went 9 complete, giving up no runs, no offensive support to speak of in that situation. But I look for him to go out there and do a great job of keeping that ball down. The ground ball rate for him is off the charts. If you're playing defense, you better be on your toes because that ball is going to be on the ground to you. Giving up 13 hits in 29 innings pitched, only 2 extra base hits on the road.
Coming up, win, lose, or draw. The one constant for the Houston Astros over the past 3 years has been the bat of Jose Altuve. How's the reigning batting champ feeling about the Astros' hot start? Julia gives us the lowdown after the break.
For baseball, perfect conditions down here on the field. And last night, we saw what ended up being a one-sided affair. The Astros bats taking off after what was a slow start to the season, but that seems so long ago. Hits coming from all over the lineup last night. And Jose Altuve had 6 at-bats, getting hits in 4 of those. Couple of doubles. Drove in a run last night, almost drove in another. That's a 7-game hit streak for Altuve with multiple hits in the last 6. Incredible stuff, but he doesn't want the credit. He's loving what he's seeing. Here's our Geico quote of the day. He's saying, "This is the real team." He went on to say everybody's doing their job. The relievers coming in the game and keeping the game there. It seems we are working as a team, and if we keep doing this, we're going to be really good. That's good to hear from a team leader. And guys, they're putting together their best April in a long time. They're very proud of that, but that's not the goal. The nice streak, though, is helping them come together. I feel like they're learning a lot about each other and what they're capable of, and you can only hope that helps them down the line.
Thanks a lot, Julia. Jose Altuve did have the big night. 10 extra base hits for the ball club yesterday. 1 triple, 3 home runs, 6 doubles for the club. Really an amazing night, and it just seemed to go on and on. Some of the guys coming off the bench also contributing late.
They're real good, and it's a good time to be an Astro, and they're proving it right now. Swinging the bat's great. Hopefully they have more offense to provide for Dallas Keuchel.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. George Springer had a little breakout night again last night. Pounded a home run way out of here. And Chris Carter is on maybe a surprising hitting streak right now. 7 in a row for Chris. So some of the guys really swinging it well. That starting lineup for the Houston Astros. Given to us by A.J. Hinch and Southwest Airlines. Looks about like this. Jose Altuve in the top spot, followed by Marlins Gonzalez at shortstop. Luis Valbuena's the 3-hitter. Middle 3, George Springer. He's in right. Colby Rasmus and Chris Carter follow. And then the bottom 3, Jake Marisnick. And then talk about a fine 7-hitter. Hank Conger gets the start behind the plate. And Dallas Keuchel will swing the wood today.
Andrew Kashner is going to be on the mound for the San Diego Padres. Has electric stuff. Velocity is actually picking up this year, if you can believe it or not, averaging about 95 miles an hour on that fastball. He's got a slider, curveball, but I've also heard good things about that changeup that he has. He earned his first victory of the season on the 19th against Chicago out there against the Cubbies. Allowed 2 earned runs, 5 hits, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks over 6 innings. Another good matchup.
So we are set to go. Perfect day here in San Diego. Jose Altuve, 7-game hitting streak. The 4 hits that Julia mentioned in last night's ball game. First time he's reached 4 hits this year. He did it 5 times last year while he won the batting title at 341. Takes a perfectly spotted strike. But Altuve is off to a much faster start than a year ago. He's hitting 348 as he stands in. 0-2 the count, 95 on that heater. So we're looking at a good arm here this afternoon. And by the way, if you're wondering about multi-hit games, Altuve with 10 of those through the first 20 games on the season. He did that 69 times last year. Grounds it foul. Well, he's got a lot of big numbers to go after.
Leads the American League in hits, 31.
It felt like a little bit of a slow start for Altuve at certain points, but he has really brought it along. And that's just away. Altuve had 2 doubles in last night's game. That's the way you'd like to see it all day long. Stay consistent with that pitch. And the slider. Tough pitch off the strike zone. And down on strikes to start things, Jose Altuve.
Defense behind Andrew Kashner here on this day game at Petco Park. Around the outfield, usual suspects and Upton, Myers, and Kemp. Left side of the infield, Will Middlebrooks back at third base. Clint Barmas out there at shortstop, and Jed Jerko at second base. You got Ervis Solarte that moves from second base to first base, and Will Nieves picking up for Derek Norris, who took a beating last night.
Marwin Gonzalez stands in. Oh, that's a good-looking fastball. Marwin is hitting 273. Hooked a double down the right field side on a pretty good looking curveball late in last night's game. He was a late entry into the party. And the count quickly at 0-2. Looks like Kashner is after the strike zone with good stuff. Final game of this 3-game series. Final game of this 9-game, 10-day road trip. And the Astros have made the most of this trip. One ball and 2 strikes. And the Astros have been putting a load of runs on the board. They have pitched well, no question about it, but 14 runs yesterday, 9 in the game before. 7 in the final game at Oakland, 9 in game 2 and 6 in game 1 at Oakland. So it's been a scoring affair for the Astros. Marwin is the guy being counted on to shore things up defensively at shortstop. Jed Lowry now on the DL and likely to be there until after and maybe long after the All-Star break. Kashner has a nice pace as he starts today's ball game. Remember, the whole thing began on this road trip with winning the first 2 at Seattle over the Mariners. The Mariners edged one out 3-2 in game 3. But since then, some nice come from behind victories in Oakland and just pounding away here in San Diego.
Now they're playing good team baseball. You heard Altuve with that quote to begin the game. This is the real team. And you keep hearing that word a lot. Now, granted, they're winning and things are very good right now, but it's still good to hear him talking as a team.
And that team is 9-2 to start the year on the road. So obviously a win today to go to 10-2 would be very special for the club. 10-2 would be their best record on the road through 12 games in franchise history. Slider got him. A couple of strikeouts on the slider.
Pretty good fight by Marlin. Just Cashner has too much right now. Nice late bite on that. Good depth on that slider too. He's a big man coming at you.
Big man with very impressive looking stuff here in the first inning. 2 outs, nobody on base. Valbuena at the plate. Luis hitting .225. A little change piece. Mix that in with 94-95 on the heater. Tough looking slider. Could be a challenging day for the Astros bats. Not quite getting to the fastball yet. The Astros 13-7 overall record has them off to their best start since 2006. That club went 14-6 through their first 20. And down on strikes. So punching out the side is Cashner, a 1-2-3 first inning. Dallas Keuchel would seem to have to be at his very best this afternoon. One of them like the back of his hand. Starting lineup for the San Diego Padres here this afternoon. We're going to play it right on the field here rather than on the beach. Will Myers leads it off. Yangervis Solarte bats second, and Matt Kemp in the 3 spot. The middle 3, Matt Kemp, Justin Upton, and Will Middlebrooks. And the bottom, well, let's see, Jed Jerko followed by Clint Barmas, Will Nieves, and the pitcher Andrew Cashner. So Will Myers stands in. And he has been showing a big bat here in the series. It was Myers in yesterday's game, though, defensively in the first inning as Evan Gattis crushed one to center field. Myers got his glove on it. The ball hit off the glove, then the top of the wall and bounced out of here as the Astros caught a break, jumped on top 2-0, and just kept on going. And Conger behind the plate today. A little boxing match with that one. 2 balls and no strikes as we started. Dallas Keuchel with terrific numbers coming in. Could easily be 4-0 on his year.
Look at Dallas Keuchel and what he's done. Some of the numbers on him. Usually throws a fastball 65% of the time, but last time out, against those Oakland A's. He threw it about 75% of the time, really upping it, going to that slider and changeup when he needs to. Does a good job of setting that up.
And gets a strike call here on a pitch that might have been low.
If he gets that call, it's going to be a long day for Padre hitting.
Already leads the major leagues, getting almost 5 ground ball outs per fly ball out. And the 2-2 change, and you can see Will Myers just reaching out in front to get a piece.
The win-loss record's great for Keuchel. The ERA is fantastic. But I was interested to see that he's got 18 strikeouts, 11 walks on the season. It tells you he's working the edges.
Now the 2-2 once again. Fastball, when it's not sinking, can tail sometimes, and that looked like the case. So Keuchel works a 3-2 count on his first batter of the day. Fastball drilled into right field. Semi shift on him. Will Myers put the barrel right on this one.
Let's take a look at the defense behind Dallas Keuchel. Colby Rasmus out in left field. Jake Marisnick in center. George Springer in right. Around the infield, Luis Valbuena at third. Marwin Gonzalez back out there at shortstop. Altuve and Carter on the right side again. Jason Castro getting the day off here during the day game. And Hank Conner will be behind the plate picking up for him, working with Dallas Keuchel.
That's the 5th hit of the series for Will Myers. Good looking young player. He's held on by Chris Carter as Keuchel, who very seldom even yields an attempt to steal off of him, brings the strike. Yangervis Solarte at the plate. He is the first baseman here today, and off to a good start on his year. 346, a couple of bombs. One of the rare times Keuchel lifts that leg all the way, and that induced the runner Myers to actually go back toward the bag at first. Watch that reaction. Usually it's the slide step from Keuchel, so a different look. There goes the runner, and the pitch on the hands hit in the air center field. Easy for Marisnick. He'll make the catch. Quickly back to first is Will Myers. Out number 1.
Castro's catching him great. Will Myers had that base stolen easy. He got a great jump on Keuchel. Probably going on first move, but caught him about a half count before Keuchel delivered the ball to home plate. But the flyout forces him back to first.
Solarte, who just flied out like Myers with 5 hits in the series. So the Padres have some bats that have been successful. The Astros bats have just been red hot, and now Matt Kemp steps in. You saw the .330 batting average. There's your outside corner. Keuchel would love to live on both edges all afternoon long. Ball and a strike. Dallas just 27 years of age. And he has blossomed into some kind of major league pitcher. Steps back and throws to first. Give a little different look.
It's a good seed to plant right there with that step off and throw move.
Myers does not go. The pitch hit in the air, right center field, long run, and nobody's going to get there. This drops and goes to the wall. Myers will be waved home. First run of the ballgame, RBI triple for Matt Kemp, and the Padres strike first. And that is a very rare run against Dallas Keuchel.
It's a good piece of hitting by a very good hitter. Probably saw the scouting report, says Keuchel likes to work that outside corner. Every once in a while he'll stand you up a little bit and try and come to that inside corner, but right here, see fastball down and away. Kemp anticipating the pitch out there, drives right through it and finds that deep empty space here at Petco Park out by the beach, right center field.
Mentioned that's a rare run against Dallas. His last 2 starts, a total of 15 innings of scoreless baseball. 9 innings last time out in a no decision at Oakland. And he picked up a win against the Angels, working 6 shutout innings, just 2 hits allowed in each one of those ball games. And through the first 3 hitters today, he has allowed 2 hits. Justin Upton gets the benefit on that check swing. Well, this would be an enormous out for Dallas to get without a run scoring. It's 1-1. Keuchel has thrown 11 consecutive quality starts. Infield playing back, so a ground ball gets a run, but there's the pop-up. So Keuchel gets exactly what he could have hoped for. Tough battle there for Altuve, but he wins out. And now you've got 2 outs, a man at third base, and Will Middlebrooks coming to the plate.
You know, Dallas Keuchel's going to continue to battle. He's not going to give in on anything. Doesn't matter what's going on around him. He will keep his composure and continue to battle. But no offense to those other ball clubs, as you see him coming into the kitchen of Justin Upton, gets him to pop up with a man at third, which was huge. And this is a tough sun field for the second baseman. You can see Altuve battling with it. But for me, this might be the best lineup that Keuchel's had to face all season.
That's intriguing. And these Padres came into the series as one of the top-ranked offensive clubs in the National League. And I think when you add Matt Kemp and Justin Upton right there in the heart of the order, it makes them about as tough for a pitcher to deal with as anybody.
And with Solarte, the number 2 hitter, the only switch hitter in the group, that makes the entire lineup a right-handed lineup against Dallas Keuchel.
Of course, we skip Will Myers at the top, and he's yet to prove himself as a big league hitter, but looks like he's really coming into his own with the bat. Ground ball up the middle. Altuve with the play, and Keuchel's going to get out, yielding just 1 run in the first inning. So he really battles to get Upton and Middlebrooks with a man at third. Through 1, it's 1-0 San Diego.
The Astros, as we've been talking about, feeling really good in that clubhouse. One thing I liked was Luis Valbuena saying, this is a family. We're helping each other out. We're picking each other up. And they had to, after the first couple of games of the season, it didn't go so well for them. They did get a win in that series, but you see the difference since those first 3 games, the batting average in particular there, under 100. And we'll see this graphic one more time, but since 259, just all across the board, 5 runs compared to just 1 run average in that game. Earlier this season, that was, of course, a tough pitching matchup as far as that series went, guys, in Cleveland.
And the Indians have a very good starting staff. Thanks, Julia. George Springer at the plate. Has a ball and a strike. This would seem, Blummer, to me to be the type of pitcher that would give George Springer the toughest time.
Yeah, and because of that 95-plus mile-an-hour fastball, we haven't seen George really catch up to the cheese yet this season. Done a great job of hitting some off-speed pitches last night. He drove it looked like a changeup out of the ballpark deep into the night. Then he came back with the base hit up the middle on a slider.
1-2 on Springer. Fastball just inside. The catcher Nieves pointing, saying that's exactly where we wanted it.
That's a tough pitch to hit. 96 in on the hands.
Tough one to take, too. Springer down on strikes. That's 4 consecutive now for Cashner. When will we see George Springer be able to put a handful of games together where the bat looks like he's found it?
Sooner the better. So Cashner, in an inning and a third, 4 strikeouts on the season. He has 25 and a third innings pitched, and now 30 strikeouts. So he's a high strikeout guy against a high strikeout ball club. But we obviously saw last night the runs can be produced even if they strike out a ton.
That's been back-to-back nights of a lot of strikeouts for the Astros hitters, and yet huge runs. Colby Rasmus at the plate with a 1-1 count. And Colby has been a big part of the offense in recent games. Hitting .254, 3 dingers. Ooh, that changeup. Very effective looking. Rasmus took an 0 in last night's game, going 0 for 4, but did score a run as he had walked once. Had 3 strikeouts on his night. And Colby entered the fray in terms of the stolen base game. The Astros have been great in that department. Colby stole one on the night. Power and running. That's what the Astros have done. Is that a changeup or a slider?
It's a little slider.
The Astros are first in the American League in home runs at 28 as you watch that tough little slider. So they lead the league in home runs, and the stolen base game they have 26. That leads the league. So when you talk power and speed in terms of stealing bags, this is the ball club on top of everybody at the moment. Chris Carter has hit in 7 straight.
Dual threat Astros.
Well, offensively, people always talk about power and speed. That's where you want to go, right?
Yeah. They've got a great combination of it going right now.
The Astros as a club with a .239 batting average. That's 10th in the league. 1-2 the count on Chris, and I'm not sure you want to get deep into a count right now with Andrew Cashner.
Early on showing great command of all 3 pitches. Fastball, slider, changeup.
He's a strike away from striking out the first 6 he faces on the afternoon. And just getting a piece is Carter. When you talk running game for the Astros, Altuve and Springer each with 8 stolen bases. Jake Marisnick has 6. So those are the big boys. Two and 2 on Carter. Six consecutive strikeouts for Andrew Cashner. Great stuff early. Dallas Keuchel has his hands full. By Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare right now at southwest.com. And by Jack in the Box. Jack's hottest sandwich is back. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. The SS Blummer, that's what I'm hearing.
Oh, yeah, I'm taking that back to the house after the game. Be out there in the harbor cruising by.
Well, you've got every right. As we go to the bottom of the second inning, 1-0 Padres. RBI triple by Matt Kemp in the first inning. Jed Jerko leads off here in the second inning. Has a ball and a strike. He'll be followed by Clint Barmas and Will Nieves. Keuchel missing inside. Boy, Dallas Keuchel, you can almost count on a great effort from Dallas every time. What you can't count on is facing a guy like Andrew Cashner today, who struck out the first 6 he's faced. Although the Astros, in terms of strikeouts offensively, well, they are dead last in the American League in terms of the punch-outs. Ooh, boy, that's close.
That's a good pitch.
That inside corner is hard to get to at the moment. Cashner's been in there trying to find it. And a 3-2 count. Keuchel always likes to work quickly. Keuchel has gotten just one ground ball out. That was Will Middlebrooks to end the first. Back to very rare first inning for Dallas. A couple of outs were recorded with balls in the air. Solarte flied to center field. Justin Upton, the key out right now, as he popped to second base for a big second out. Had a runner at third base at that point. Ground ball to third. Valbuena backs and makes a good throw. Out number one in the second. What Dallas is going to have to do is get away from these 2- and 3-ball counts now, or it could turn out to be a shortened afternoon.
Yeah, that would be excessive work for Dallas Keuchel. He's pretty economical in his last outing. Out there in Oakland, going 9 strong. In those 9 innings, threw 106 pitches. 3 of his 4 starts have gone over 100 pitches.
So Keuchel finds the strike zone. Barmas playing at shortstop this afternoon. First start on the series. And now Keuchel in front 0-2. And makes you wonder if the Padres might have a game plan of trying to take some pitches, see if they can get Keuchel out of there quickly. Of course, that's all well and fine, but the Astros bullpen is second best in the league.
And I think that just going back to the numbers that I rattled off earlier, 18 strikeouts coming into this game for Dallas Keuchel, but 11 walks also. So that tells you that he works on the edges, so it might be a good idea, or a game plan that they're working with is to take some pitches on Dallas Keuchel, see where that strike zone's at, see what edge of the plate he's working on, and adjust from there.
And I think noteworthy, already mentioned, but Keuchel in his last 2 starts, each one of them allowing just 2 hits. 2 hits already in the first inning through the first 3 hitters he faced this afternoon. Strike 3 call right at the knees on the 2-2 change. Barmas caught looking for a strikeout for Keuchel.
Remember, it's not where the catcher catches, it's where it crosses the plate. That ball did look down by the time it got to Conger, but this dead fish changeup just floats in there and, according to the home plate umpire, catches the bottom edge of the zone.
Could have had a seam on the bottom of the knees.
You know what's interesting about the hits you're talking about Dallas giving up? That triple by Matt Kemp is only the 3rd extra base hit given up by Dallas Keuchel.
Kemp perfectly split the gap in right center field with 1 out in the first inning. Will Myers had led off with a solid base hit to right field. Little tapper, couple of hops to third. Valbuena bare hands and makes it beautifully. A 1-2-3 inning with a couple of groundouts.
home runs with the Dodgers and Blue Jays. And we know that Sock is in the bat. It's just nice to see these guys starting to connect on some of these, playing at some big ballparks on this road trip. But with the power they have, they can shrink them in a heartbeat. That's a big bat that's going to be missed in that lineup. Jason Castro hitting the bomb in some grown man territory. The lumberjack throwing some wood around. It's good to see these guys swing the bats. And as we alluded to, too, that offense, when they get on base after some of those walks, they wreak havoc.
Well, you mentioned some contact. The Astros could use some right about now as Jake Marisnick leads off the third inning. They have not made contact to this point. 6 consecutive strikeouts. Altuve, Gonzalez, Valbuena, Springer, Rasmussen, Carter through the first 2 innings. Cashner gives up the high chopper over third base, and down the line Marisnick is at it again and has a leadoff double here in the third inning. Jake Marisnick has been fantastic.
Thank goodness for that guy.
That's his 4th 2-bagger of the year.
Well, your speedy guy like Jake Marisnick, the threat of a bunt brings that third baseman in on a day game like this, and a hard surface out in front of you, just smash it in the ground and get that colossal chop double.
That's the one that everybody back when there were AstroTurf fields would say, well, it was an AstroTurf hit, and all the ball would do is hit the dirt out in front of home plate. But perception seemed to be everything. Hank Conger gets the start today. Starts have been rare, but he's had some impact for the club with his bat, hitting 167. Big game-winning home run in Arlington, that in a Dallas Keuchel start. 1 ball and 1 strike, and Keuchel waits on deck, or should be there. At the moment, the on-deck circle is vacant.
He's trying to figure out which helmet will fit over his beard. Found one.
Does that change things?
I don't know. I'm surprised he doesn't have that face guard. But in this case, it would be a beard guard to protect that thing.
Conger able to hold back. Has a 3-1 count. Nobody out. A man at second base. We're in the third inning. 1-0 San Diego.
Fun to see Hank Conger get the head out on one of these 96-mile-an-hour fastballs.
It's one of those at-bats that can mean a lot. Can you either drive in the run or have a productive at-bat moving the runner up? Instead, a walk of Conger, and now Dallas Keuchel will be called upon, you would think, to lay down the bunt.
Luckily, Keuchel's a good enough athlete that I have faith in him to be able to do it, but it's a lot to ask a big league pitcher in the American League to come over here in his first plate appearance, try and lay down 96.
Yeah. And the left hand, you always worry about that hand moving up the bat and trying to bunt at a pitch. He started going 95 plus, and it's kind of a laser coming to the plate, so not easy for these pitchers. And now the Padres, faced with a bunt and runners at first and second, apparently need to talk this over. Hey guys, you remember we worked on this in spring training. Here's what we're going to do.
He's pointing out how everybody looks delicious in their brown caps with the orange SD on it.
I wonder if there could be some talk here about, look, this guy's not accustomed to having a bat in his hands. If he bunts through a pitch, let's be aware and ready for the possibility of throwing behind a base runner.
Well, Marisnick at second base runs well, so he doesn't have to get an extended lead to make it to third base on a good bunt. And he doesn't really have to anticipate that ball being down. His pure raw speed should get him to third easily.
So here we go. Turning to bunt, Keuchel, and takes low. The ball gets away from Nieves, and alertly into third base is Jake Marisnick. This guy's a very good base runner.
It was beautiful. And no, Hank Conger did not trail that run. That's a tough read, because if Nieves comes up and tries to fire to second base, they'd probably have a better chance of getting Conger. But you can see the reaction of Jake Marisnick is pretty good. And as soon as that double clutch happens from Will Nieves, Marisnick's in easy.
And minus the double clutch, I think they had a great shot at Marisnick.
I do too, but that's the thing. Their speed forces them to make the play.
It goes as a pass ball, a little half swing by Keuchel, who now gets to swing the bat. Ooh, what's going through his head right now? Man, this stuff looks different than I anticipated.
Yeah, he has a dial. He's trying to dial it up right now.
Fastball is just pumped through at 96, is it? 90?
Yeah, 96 on the scoreboard here. So if there's a pitch up underneath the chin of Dallas Keuchel and it hits the beard, is that a hit by pitch? That thing's amazing.
Has that ever been called in Major League Baseball?
Good take. I'm swinging at that.
There had to be a day back in the Gas House gang and that kind of baseball where that happened, right? Ball lodged in the beard.
Yeah.
2-2 the count. Strike 3 called. Outside corner painted. Keuchel thinks about it. Decides, well, give me that call and I won't even say a word right now. That's a key first out here in the inning.
Just off that outside edge.
Strikeout number 7 for Cashner. Back to the top, Jose Altuve.
And I'm taking the strikeout instead of the double play off of Keuchel's bat.
Yeah. In a heartbeat. Of course, the double play would likely get you tied. Here's a fly ball to left field, hit pretty well. Deep enough to score the run. Here comes Marisnick. The throw to the plate high enough that Conger should have easily been able to read it and move into second base. Instead, he's still at first. Sac fly for Altuve. And the Astros have caught him at 1.
I'm with you, Ash. It's all about taking an extra 90 feet. You know that throw is going to be coming home. You might as well go back, tag up, and take a lead and see where that throw is. As Altuve does what he does. He takes advantage of driving that runner in. Less than 2 outs on third base. But that throw clearly going over the cutoff man, Will Middlebrook's head. Should have been an easy read for Conger to get to second base.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. You take off with a few strides and then read the throw and just keep going when you see that it's too high to be cut. Marwin Gonzalez now bats with a man at first rather than in scoring position at second. 2 outs in the inning. Altuve just nonchalantly almost able to drive in that run. Marwin, like the first 6 hitters of the ball game for the Astros, struck out that in the first. Well, it's a good looking assortment.
Put a power arm like Cashner's with that great off speed he's working with. That makes for real tough at bats.
Looks like he's got one over the top, a little slide piece, change up, fastball mid 90s. And the 0-2. That is not easy to get a piece of, that high heater. By the way, real quickly on the scoreboard, one game is completed already today. That is from Baltimore. The Orioles hosting the White Sox. No fans in the stands with the problems going on in downtown Baltimore. And the Orioles won it 8-2. I'll let Blummer tell you the key stat in that game. As just away, it's 1-2.
That would be the time of game. 2 hours and 3 minutes they got that done. 10 runs scored in that ball game in a 9-inning game. Yet it was played in 2 hours and 3 minutes.
So you're telling me there is motivation that could make players play a little more quickly than we see?
Well, I think that they're going to put that one in the memory bank and make it a blueprint for everybody else to go by, because that's pretty impressive.
There are no fans from that game that can verify there was a game played in 2 hours and 3 minutes, but hopefully it does get passed around. Marlins spoils again.
And it was broadcast. It was on in the media dining room. That game was on TV, so you can't blame it on the TV end of it. Probably just, 8 runs doesn't tell you it was well pitched. There's a good look at Camden Yards with nobody but White Sox and Orioles in it. It's a crazy look.
That had to be strange. Again, Marwin fouls it down the left side. Did they pipe in crowd noise?
Well, they let down. Samardzija got beat up, huh?
Chris Davis playing the launch game.
He's trying to hit one out to the fans. Good grief.
Boy, that had to feel weird in that ballpark.
Hitting a home run and having nobody cheer. That's got to be bizarre.
Teammates were forced to play the silent treatment today.
2 hours and 3 minutes. That's what, 55 minutes quicker than the average pace this year.
That's putting the tomahawk chop all over game time.
Man.
Manny Machado had 3 hits in that one. he's probably thinking right about now. I love playing in front of no fans.
Talk about no stress. Right now, this man right here, Marwin Gonzalez, is just a nuisance to what Cashner's trying to accomplish.
Well, he's got that choke-up style, little short swing. He would figure to be a guy that could get some part of the bat to the ball. The Astros picking up a run here in the third inning. A leadoff double by Jake Marisnick is the key. Jose Altuve with a sac fly. And for Altuve, RBI number 14, so he's becoming a big run producer on top of everything else. One hopper to second. Jerko makes the play, and that'll do it for Houston in the third. They get the run to tie it at 1, and we get a peek at Mike Scott and that great no-hitter to clinch in the West.
Is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet. Dallas Keuchel working with Hank Conger again today. A little bit had to do with giving Jason Castro the day off, but these two worked really well with each other in Oakland when Dallas threw those 9 shutout innings. Of course, after that one, Dallas wasn't exactly happy with the entire performance. The 2 walks really disappointed him. He said, I didn't know where my fastball was going, my 2-seam at the time, didn't know where it was going. The crosswinds maybe had something to do with it. Conger telling me that they threw all fastballs in those first 2 innings. And after getting out of the third inning, a double play with the bases loaded, he said he settled down, finally had command of it, and from there, the slider being the big pitch, guys.
Thanks, Julia. No crosswinds to deal with here in San Diego this afternoon. That first pitch very close, but called a ball on the opposing pitcher, Andrew Cashner. And now a 1-1 count.
Cashner can hit. He's a good athlete.
Showing bunt is Cashner as he takes the breaking ball, and a 1-2 count.
You know what I said as a third baseman when I saw a pitcher try and drag bunt on me? Do it.
Bring it, huh?
Yeah, just go ahead and do it. Give me the out.
Well, you mentioned that Cashner can swing it. He's 1 for 8 on the season. It's a lofty 125 mark. He's down on strikes. Keuchel knows enough about him to bring the breaking ball.
Today's league leaders are brought to you by your local Honda dealer. See what we got. Lowest opponent average versus off-speed pitch. Dallas Keuchel. Gosh, 061. That's pretty good. A couple of good lefties on the top of that list. Francisco Liriano having himself a good year to start out also, but both left-handers that can throw in that 90-mile-an-hour range, work on both sides of the plate, but have excellent changeups and put away sliders.
Will Myers stands in. He had a base hit in the first inning and scored the Padre run. Hits one in the air to center field. Marisnick with the play, and 2 outs quickly here in the third inning. You know, you mentioned of those 2 left-handers at the top of that list, the changeup on each guy, and probably a big key in what they're able to do.
Yeah, because that fastball is really not going to blow the doors off too many big league hitters, but the fact that they're able to spot it on that outside corner consistently, every once in a while sneak one up underneath your hands, and then throw that changeup out of the same arm slot and same delivery, makes them quite effective.
There's the outside corner. Solarte at the plate, fly to center in the first inning. RBI triple for Matt Kemp. That for the Padres. And now Jose Altuve with a RBI sac fly, driving in the lone Houston run. I think the Padres and their fans have gotten a good look at what Jose Altuve is all about in this series. And I'm sure a lot of curiosity about Dallas Keuchel and that 0.62 ERA as he came into play today. If Dallas throws 8 shutout innings behind that first inning, he will still see the ERA rise today, and that tells you how good he's been.
It's kind of crazy to think about.
Little ground ball to second. That's the way he does his work. Altuve with the play, and a 1-2-3 third inning. 8 in a row retired by Dallas Keuchel. Fair right now at southwest.com. Got a good one going on in San Diego. Yeah, they've got pretty good stuff, I guess you could say, going on the beach. But right here at the ballpark, Petco, it's a 1-1 game. 2 hits for San Diego, 1 for Houston. Luis Valbuena leads off in the 4th inning against Andrew Cashner, who has shown exceptional stuff here today. Valbuena struck out in the 1st inning, 7 strikeouts already for Cashner. Good looking changeup on the 1-0. From what I've seen from Cashner here today, I would expect him to be among the leaderboards in terms of National League pitching.
Yeah, that 1-3 record's a little deceiving.
And he falls behind Cashner as we lay the jinx on him. 3-1. Starting here in the 4th inning, it's Valbuena, Springer, and Rasmus. Cashner has been spectacular. Count now fills. Over the last 3 starts for this big right-hander, just 2 runs allowed. 2 earned runs. Those against the Dodgers in his last start. 2 previous starts, not an earned run against the Cubs or Diamondbacks.
So he's getting a lot of run support then, huh?
Apparently not a whole lot. He went 1 and 2 in those 3 starts. He'd been roughed up a bit by the Dodgers and Giants in the 2 starts prior to those. Fly ball right field. Glasses gleaming for Matt Kemp, and he is battling and somehow comes up with this fly ball.
Oh, it's up there forever too. Well, that ball goes up that right side of the infield, but this ball's hit so high that I guarantee you Matt Kemp, the further he moved in and the higher that ball got, the more it got into the sunlight. That's an extreme battle. It almost looked like the last 5 feet. He had no idea where it was. It's just a pretty good guess.
Watch his eyes go down. I guess watch the head go down. You can't quite see it there, but you're right. There was no way he could see that. Hot shot by George Springer down the left field side. Off the wall quickly, but Springer with way too much speed has a 1-out double. Oh, that's the swing that you just wonder, when can you start seeing that on a regular basis?
Off speed. It's a hanging slider from Cashner. We hinted earlier that he has a tough time with some of these guys that throw 95+ miles an hour, but this is a slider that backs up on the middle third of the plate, and he turns on it.
Double number 5 for George Springer. Colby Rasmus with an opportunity, man in scoring position, 1 out here in the 4th. That's one of those swings from Springer that we saw on a number of occasions during a prolonged hot streak last year, where you just wonder if he gets under it just a fraction, how far the ball might actually go. This one's going to go a long ways. Colby Rasmus, the big fly. 2-run shot here in the 4th inning, and the Astros take the lead. 3-1, Houston on top.
Juggernaut.
Number 4 on the year for Colby.
Now, if you go back to Colby's first at bat, a ton of changeups. Good changeups from Andrew Cashner. Colby can't hit the fastball. That's why the scouting report says throw him a changeup. But if you throw a left-handed hitter a hanging changeup like this one right here, that's eerily similar to the one that Jed Lowry hit first game of this series against the San Diego Padres, a hanging changeup that he launched out here. But guy that's swinging the bat well like Colby Rasmus, and you make a mistake, it's going to get crushed.
That's a big time swing. Again, 4th home run for Colby. He now has 9 RBIs. 1 out. So Springer and Rasmus coming up with very big swings in the inning.
Got away with one right there too.
Breaking ball that stayed up a bit for Chris Carter, who again has a 7-game hitting streak. Can Chris Carter have a quiet 7-game hitting streak?
If you put his batting average up first, yes.
Little tapper is foul. Well, he's hitting 174 as he stands in. Strikeout victim in the 2nd.
So he's hitting 174 in his current 7-game streak. He's hitting 346. Gives you an idea of where he's come from.
Fastball got the inside edge. Carter caught looking. Second time he goes down on strikes. That's 8 for Cashner, but Cashner is trailing 3-1 here in the 4th inning. Notes from last night's game: 10 extra base hits. It was just an all-out assault from the Astros.
Well, they've got pop, and those home runs are just adding to those leads that they have in the American League. Shooting all of baseball. They're tied, or they may have taken a jump on the Dodgers and Blue Jays here with that bomb right there.
Jake Marisnick had a double and scored in the 3rd inning. Scored on the sac fly by Jose Altuve.
It's good X-ball on that.
Watch and enjoy.
Man, that extension. And he does everything in his power to get out and around that baseball and hook that thing.
Counted 0-2 on Jake. Boy, this guy has been such a big part of the success of the team. That double in the 3rd inning, his 4th of the year. And down on strikes. That's a tough slider. Couple of strikeouts in the inning. 9 on the game for Cashner, but he trails it 3-1 here in the 4th inning.
For tickets, call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com. The Astros in San Diego for just one final day, a big military hub, the San Diego Naval Base just around the corner. And you can also visit the museum, the USS Midway, which was one of the longest serving aircraft carriers in U.S. Navy. You're looking at a replica behind me. This thing is huge. It's in right field. But if you do get a chance to check out Petco Park, make sure to see the wall that recognizes all the Major League Baseball players who've served our country, including Ted Williams and Jerry Coleman, guys.
Thanks, Julia. And very important stuff.
San Diego does a fantastic job of representing and appreciating what the military has done in the area. A lot of off-the-field opportunities for players to go into some of these naval hospitals and visit with some of the guys. There will be trips up to Camp Pendleton to visit with the Marines up there. Every Sunday they wear the camouflage tops to honor the military. They invite groups, they put them in the stands and let them enjoy a baseball game every now and then. They take a lot of pride in representing that part of the military.
You know what I remember about my years of playing in San Diego was, and I think it was usually, I don't know, if weekend games anyway, where the Marines or the Navy would come in and they'd have massive groups out in some portion of the ballpark watching the ball game, and I just thought it was one of the most special things.
Yeah, it's a good tradition they've started here in San Diego.
3-1 Houston on top. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Matt Kemp drove in the only San Diego run. Jerry Coleman and Ted Williams, a couple of the names that big military guys associated with this area. Of course, Ted Williams from San Diego. Jerry Coleman, at one time the manager of the Padres. A longtime broadcaster. Count at 3-2 now as Matt Kemp leads off. Kemp had a triple in the 1st inning. He'll be followed by Justin Upton and Will Middlebrooks. Ground ball back up the middle. Altuve is close by, has to backhand and throw quickly to get the out. Nicely done by Jose.
Funky hop for Altuve. Ball was kind of hit right at him. Instead of rounding it off and going towards first base, he came directly out of it. You see that hop kind of getting on his right-hand side, but does a great job of backhanding it. Good exchange and good throw.
You know what? I'm really glad to see the use of the glove there rather than the barehanded effort.
Always.
Dallas Keuchel appreciates the fine play. With 1 out, it brings up Justin Upton. It was Upton who, with 1 out and a man at third base in the 1st inning, Padres already on top 1-0, popped out. And that was was enormous for Keuchel. And here's a great play by Jake Marisnick. Over the head. Justin Upton had given it a ride. And Jake Marisnick, one of the game's truly outstanding defensive center fielders.
He's going to start landing himself on some highlight reels. The only thing is he runs so quick and gets to the ball so well, he doesn't turn them into great plays. But this ball was smoked over his head. Got himself a great jump. You see how much Keuchel appreciates it. Pretty damn good play.
2 outs, and both very nice plays. Marisnick looked like he had a bit of a sheepish smile, as if he wasn't too proud of his landing there.
Ain't nobody watching the landing. They're watching how great the takeoff was.
Will Middlebrooks, also one of the big outs in the first inning. He batted with 2 outs and a man at third and grounded out. Altuve making the play on that one. So the Padres in that first inning could have, it by the book, should have extended the lead to 2-0. And the Astros have taken advantage, leading it 3-1. And another strike. Let's take another look at that catch by Jake Marisnick.
Some good camera angles. Nice leap. Thank goodness for the padded wall, huh?
See that smile there at the end, looking over at Springer. I wonder if Springer was giving him a tough time.
There were some times I had a chance to play here in San Diego with a guy named Mike Cameron, who I thought could flat out go get it, one of the best center fielders I've ever seen. And I found myself occasionally watching plays and just watching as a fan in awe. I wonder if that's how George Springer was right there and watching Marisnick go back and get that thing.
Another 3-ball count as Will Middlebrooks is at the plate. Yeah.
Oh, you know what it is?
There's Springer giving some love, I'm sure.
Well, when Marisnick came off the wall, his hat went flying. You could almost see him trying to make the play on the hat.
Yeah. Give me my hat back. Little tapper to the mound. Keuchel, one of the best in the game defensively, gets the out. A couple of ground ball outs in the 4th inning. He's sailing along thanks to some defense. 3-1 Houston. Standing defense. They've played long ball with Colby Rasmus hitting his 4th on the year. And the boys are just playing some serious hardball right now. By the way, story Adam Wainwright, who tore his Achilles tendon while he was batting this year, and all the questions about whether the DH needs to come to the National League. He says no way. Don't change a thing. And so kind of an intriguing comment coming out of Adam Wainwright. Line shot, Hank Conger, and it's grabbed. The shortstop Barnes in a shift able to go back and make the play. So Conger robbed leading off the 5th.
It's a nice play right there off the end of the bat, kind of like a swinging changeup. Barnes does a good job of putting his foot on the gas, running out there and making that play. Nice.
So Andrew Kashner, big right-hander who has 9 strikeouts, enjoys out number 1. Dallas Keuchel comes to the plate. 8-9-1 here in this 5th. And National League pitchers have to love innings like this, where you start it with the 8-hitter. You hope you get the out, and then you work through the pitcher's spot. Dallas Keuchel struck out looking in the 3rd inning, has an 0-2 count here. The Astros picked up a run to tie it in the 3rd inning. They got a leadoff double from Marisnick. He moved up on a pass ball and then scored on a sac fly by Jose Altuve, and then a 2-run bomb by Rasmus coming in the 4th. And for the 2nd time this afternoon, Keuchel caught looking, out number 2.
Good thing he can pitch.
Well, you were anticipating a big bat from Keuchel.
Kind of was. Does everything else so great.
Well, we are already in the double-digit strikeout column.
Good grief. Way to go, Dallas.
Oh, so you're laying it on the pitcher. Jose Altuve has 1 of those strikeouts, also the sac fly. 14 RBIs and diving stop by Barmas, but he'll never get Jose Altuve as he just sprints on down the line. Another base hit for Jose. 8-game hitting streak. And we all just simply enjoy watching this guy play.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Great effort by Barmas, but really never a chance for him to get Jose Altuve, who was constantly hustling down that line at first base. And ho-hum, just another hit, 32 on the season.
Yeah, that's about it. Altuve leading the league in hits. Easily leads the Astros. The next closest, Jake Marisnick, who with the double today has 20. Marwin Gonzalez stands in and maybe looking to take a pitch or two, see if Altuve might be able to nab a bag. He also leads in stolen bases, tied with George Springer. 8 stolen bases already for the top stealing club in the American League. Well, that's a good looking heater, even at 92. And Marwin was taking, and maybe that smile on the face is, boy, I'd like to have that one back.
We're already 1 pitch into the count. Altuve hasn't taken off yet.
Just kind of edging to a short lead as the throw comes over.
It's almost as if he knew the signs right there. He was close to the bag on that pickoff throw from Kashner. But Padre philosophy on pitching and base running is they want to focus on getting the hitter, not so much the guy at first base. And today's T-Mobile game changer is the Astros larceny on the base pass. 13 on this trip and leading the league in steals overall. It's been a good road trip all the way around. 8 games, 13 stolen bases. And they're really causing issues here in San Diego. I believe we saw 3 games of 3+ stolen bases from the Houston Astros on this road trip also.
Altuve not on the move. The pitch is popped up shallow in center field. Barmas the shortstop with the play, and that'll do it for Houston in the 5th inning. They get the 2-out single from Altuve and strand him, but lead it 3-1. Headed to Culture, 1980. Number one song by Blondie, Call Me, top-selling book. The Bourne Identity, Robert Ludlum is the author. Number one movie, Empire Strikes Back. Best Picture, Kramer v. Kramer. George Brett, the American League MVP, the National League, Mike Schmidt. Well, it takes you back, doesn't it? Or does it, Mr. Blunt?
Oh, I remember the Empire Strikes Back. You kidding me?
You remember George Brett?
Yeah, that other good third baseman in the National League. That was the year of the third baseman.
How about those two guys? Did they motivate you at all to become a third baseman along the way?
Nope.
Not a bit.
No, I was a middle infielder. I came up as a shortstop the whole way, and I was a big fan of Cal Ripken Jr. See a guy 6+ feet playing shortstop, I latched on to him.
Cal was about your size, right? About 6'4"?
Yep. Yeah, and I actually was lucky enough to be able to play against Cal and meet him and talk to him a little bit, and that was pretty special.
Did he look at you and say you're too big to be a shortstop?
Absolutely not. He's like, we need more of you guys hanging around, and I totally appreciated that. You know what's funny you bring that up. I'm in AA in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and doing an autograph signing, and Pete Rose comes through, and he's a part of this autograph signing. They kind of have us tucked off in a corner, and they bring Pete over, and we introduce ourselves, and you know he's making good conversation. We're talking about some things, and he looks at me and he goes, "Well, what position do you play, son?" And I said, "Well, I play shortstop and some second base."
Line shot by Jerko, but Altuve is there. He's everywhere. And out number one.
And he says, "Well, you're too darn big to be playing up the middle," and walked off. So that was my introduction to Pete Rose. But we'll go back in the time machine because we're doing it right now. It's on the screen. Average, Cesar Cedeno, 309. That was a pretty good Astros team out there in the 80s, Ash.
Yeah, it was a talented bunch, but it was really led by the pitching staff. And Joe Niekro was the king at the time. He was on back-to-back years of winning 20-plus games. Joe Sambito would go on and hurt his arm. And you know what? There was J.R. Richard went down, Joe Sambito and Dickie Thon all in a relatively short period of time for a ball club that had a chance to be really special. One out for Clint Barmas. So that's all you've got on the Pete Rose story, huh?
Yeah, that was my interaction with him. He was nice enough, but the second I told him I played up the middle, he was just like, "Yep, you're too darn big," and walked off. That was his scouting report.
Pitch is fouled back. Well, you are too darn big. You're not supposed to be able to do what you did as that big a guy, and the same would be true for Cal Ripken. There just are very few guys your size that were able to play that position.
Carlos Correa, big man that can play some shortstop.
Yes,
so there are some of those taller athletes still floating around.
Swinging a foul tip, hung on to by Hank Conger. That's 2 outs here in the 5th inning. Third strikeout for Dallas Keuchel. Well, it brings up an intriguing conversation. Carlos Correa is not quite as heavy maybe as you and Cal Ripken, but maybe moving in that direction. A-Rod, another guy that was maybe not quite as tall, but kind of that same body.
Yeah, that long, lanky body, but yeah, throughout the course of your major league career, you figure out where the spread is, and you get that big league mill money, and pounds start to get on a little bit. But shortstop is usually reserved for the smaller, quicker athlete, but there are some guys that are big enough to create some smaller angles.
Well, look, if the big guy can play at shortstop, get the job done well, and then you get the benefit of his big-time bat, when you add the extra offensive guy at a position that generally doesn't produce offense, what a difference in the lineup.
Absolutely.
Eight-hitter Will Nieves, the catcher at the plate. Took a barehanded effort by Valbuena at third base to get him to end the 2nd inning. Dallas Keuchel has never felt today to me like he's been totally locked on, and yet he's on quite a roll. He's retired 13 in a row. Just misses the inside edge.
And even with that pitch missing on that inside corner, it's just enough to let those guys know that he will come inside to you. So you can't give up on that inner third, just sit on the outside corner on Dallas Keuchel.
Breaking ball hit in the air left field. Rasmus is there and makes the play. A 1-2-3 5th inning, 14 in a row retired by Dallas Keuchel as his Astros lead it 3-1.
Professionals from around Houston while enjoying an extended happy hour in the Bud Patio from 5 p.m. to 6:30. I need to go to this. For more information, visit astros.com/youngprofessionals or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Maybe there'll be a speech therapist there.
I thought I saw you just come back from there.
Man, good grief. Reading comprehension.
Padres fans are saying good grief right about now. 3-1 Houston. Game 3 as the Astros try to make it back-to-back sweeps. Coming out of Oakland, of all places, with a sweep. And now into San Diego.
There's a couple of nevers that could be wiped off the history books for the Houston Astros.
About an 8-1 road trip to the West Coast.
Man.
Starting in Seattle, then on to Oakland and San Diego. And you may not have a feel for San Diego, but the Padres, as Jeff Blum has been talking about, a really good-looking club right about now.
I was excited to see we were coming through here, especially after those moves that A.J. Preller made here in San Diego. But now seeing the Astros match up with them quite well, and to be honest, putting a hurting on them in the last couple days with runs scored, it's been pretty nice to see.
Pitch is hammered to right field by Valbuena, and up and over Matt Kemp. Extra bases again, I think so. Leadoff double Valbuena as the Astros try to kickstart something here in the 6th inning.
This is all kinds of impressive. Any mistake in the zone is getting waffled by Astro hitters. And they don't care where they're at. Think about the ballparks we've been at on this road trip. Safeco Field, large ballpark. Oakland, ball doesn't carry that well. Petco Park, not known for giving up home runs, but these guys continue to drive the ball out of the ballpark and rack up doubles, and there's a couple triples sprinkled in there too.
10 extra base hits yesterday, and the Astros are playing that game once again. 4 extra base hits here today as they've put together a 3-1 lead. George Springer swings right through one, a 1-1 count. When are they going to go away from the off speed on George?
I don't know. They're trying to find their way against a lot of these hitters in this lineup.
Springer has struck out looking and doubled, scored a run. That was number 2, and the go-ahead run. Of course, it was an easy score for George. He was aboard when Colby Rasmus launched one to right field.
See George square up 96. Could be fun.
Fly ball to right field and fairly deep. Kemp has a beat on it. He'll make the catch. Tagging and moving to third base is Valbuena, and that's a quality at bat.
Exactly. The same thoughts right there, Ash. George trying to go the other way, possibly on the ground, but playing a good team offensive game. Move the runner to third base. Get him 90 feet closer for Colby Rasmus to try and drive him in with less than 2 outs.
Infield will draw in. Colby Rasmus at the plate. Colby has struck out and homered. That was number 4 on the year for Colby. He now has 9 ribbies. 3 for 11 on the series. He's a really good outfielder and a dangerous hitter. Pops one foul to the seats. Tacking on a 4th run right here in this 6th inning would be very big for Dallas Keuchel.
Speaking of off-speed pitches, he got himself a hanging changeup after seeing a bunch in that first AB, and that's pretty. If you've got the pop and the arm length to go out there and get around a changeup, go ahead and do it.
You look where Colby holds his hands out over the plate, and you would think you'd be able to get in on him pretty consistently. But he is that guy, just like you say, he goes around the baseball. He'll get the barrel to it. Just inside. Cashner wanted that one.
Well, I've talked to some hitters who actually get their hands that far away from their body. They don't stand as close to the plate as Colby does, but a lot of the reasons they do that is to get the hands away from the body. They say clears up some space to get their hands maybe moving a little bit freer through the zone.
Watch what Colby does, though. As he makes his stride, the hands come back to the body right here.
So that So it kind of tells you or gives you the idea that might be his load or that hitch that he needs to get his swing going.
That movement that everybody has some kind of move that gets things going.
And it's amazing. You'll look at every major league hitter, doesn't matter what they're doing, but when they're getting ready to swing the bat, 95% of them are in the same exact spot ready to fire.
When that front foot is down, guys tend to be in that same spot. You're exactly right. Pop fly left side, and it's going to stay in play. Making the play is Middlebrooks, and there's the second out. So now you're down to needing that key 2-out, I want to say hit, but of course you've also got the possibility of the wild pitch, pass ball, something happening, and the Astros have taken advantage in this streak of just about everything possible. You know that Dallas Keuchel in the dugout right now on the third base side is thinking, come on guys, get that fourth run. Dallas has already had an unusual day allowing a run. Ground ball to short, 2 big hops there for Barmes. He'll make the play. Carter is out, and that'll do it. They strand Balbuena at third base. 3-1 Houston.
Here in the Southwest, San Diego, it's been great. Astros will head home for a 7-game homestand, taking on the Seattle Mariners for 4 games over the weekend, and a midweek series with the Texas Rangers before heading back out west to Los Angeles to face those Anaheim Angels. And then a day off, going to get some San Francisco Giants, Toronto Blue Jays. Still in the division, though, for quite a while.
And in the division, A.J. Hinch's guys 10-5 over a 15-game span right in the division. So they got tested early and have passed the test very well. Andrew Kashner tries to bunt his way aboard. Has an 0-2 count here as he leads off in the 6th inning. Well, you're right, Jeff. That's a pretty good looking athlete as Kashner came sprinting out of the box. Three runs, 5 hits, an error for Houston. Make that 1 run, 2 hits, no errors for San Diego. .72 pitches for Dallas. Trying to get that first out here in the 6th inning.
There's a note on the board. Saw earlier that Andrew Kashner struck out the first 6 batters of the game, and that's a club record for the San Diego Padres to begin a game.
And a 2-2 count. Well, many of these outs today haven't been that easy variety out that Dallas is accustomed to getting. Line shot into center field. It's a leadoff single. So Andrew Cashner shows he can swing the bat.
No sooner than we talked about it, he steps up and does it. Does a good job of lacing that one up the middle. And of course, the pitcher breaks that string of consecutive outs for Dallas Keuchel.
15 consecutive outs to make that 14 consecutive for Dallas. So it's over now. Nobody out in the 6th inning. Top of the order, Will Myers at the plate. And what Dallas would love to get is that ground ball that creates a double play. He's not seen a double play today. Neither team with one.
If anybody's going to get it, it's going to be Dallas Keuchel. Close to 70% that ground ball rate.
Will Myers, a guy that runs really well. Yeah, though Keuchel has been good, it feels a bit like that last start where Dallas pitched extremely well and said he just never felt like he had the command all day. I don't know if that inside corner just simply doesn't exist today or if those pitches are all missing off the edge. The one pitch today that Dallas took advantage of working in was getting Justin Upton to pop out for the second out in the 1st inning. Got a fastball in the hands of the big left fielder, and he popped it up, a key second out, as there was a man at third base at the time. Padres had that chance to jump on top 2-0 in the 1st inning.
What a luxury having that changeup in a hitter's count. You can go to it. That 2-1 count, he just threw it to Will Myers and got a weak ground ball.
And the strike is called. There you go. There is the inside corner. And Myers may have been set up for that. 4th strikeout for Keuchel, out number 1.
That 2-1 changeup he rolled over, and then just a fastball in that inside corner may have had a little bit of cut, and you can see the velocity on it too, 91 miles an hour. You see him normally pitching around 88, 89 miles an hour, but when the time comes, Dallas is a guy who can reach back and get a couple extra miles an hour on it.
Yangervis Solarte at the plate, 0 for 2 on the night, and way out in front, waving on the change. Most of the other action around Major League Baseball coming up this evening. Four finals in. Milwaukee wins at 8-3 at Cincinnati. Fly ball right field. Coming in and now back a bit is Springer for the second out. That's some who's hot, who's not going on around the bigs. Boy, Adam Jones has been off to a great start for the Orioles.
Man, that Boston Red Sox rotation is just taking a beating.
What's going on there? Red Sox, a lot of people thought might be the club to win the American League this year.
They added left-hander Wade Miley from the Diamondbacks over there. They thought that'd be a nice left-handed addition out there with Lester moving on, but it has not added up for them. 9
saves for Familia. We saw him the last series of the year last year. DJ LeMahieu has been red hot for the Rocks.
Hitting over 400 in the first month to lead everybody.
3-hitter Matt Kemp at the plate. He batted in the first inning with Will Myers at first base and 1 out. Gapped one in right center field. It went to the wall, and the Pods jumped on top 1-0.
Kemp has tremendous opposite field pop too. That year he hit 39. He was 1 home run away from being a 40-40 guy, but he came through Arizona and was launching things off the batting eye in center field.
Well, you said it last night. Kemp that year likely was the true MVP.
I would definitely put my vote in for him that year.
Ryan Braun won it that year, and there's a lot of questions swirled, and eventually the swirling landed right on him.
Yeah, the swirls were answered.
Matt Kemp with that triple in the first inning, just his second hit of the series, laces one foul left side.
Speaking of Diamondbacks, did you happen to see what happened to a right-handed pitcher, Archie Bradley?
No.
Carlos Gonzalez for the Rockies hit a ball that came off his bat about 115 miles an hour and hit him square in the right cheek.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it was. The replay was awful. Archie Bradley is okay, thank God, but it happened in a hurry and the sounds were awful.
Was that yesterday?
Yes, and it was just awful. But he is okay. He's on the 15-day DL with a sinus fracture, but when it happened, it looked a lot worse.
Was it a glancing job or straight on?
It squared him up.
It's remarkable that pitchers, like the fans, survive some of those line drives.
Isn't that the truth?
2-2 to Kemp. Hit on the ground. Altuve is there. He'll feed on to second base for the force, and that'll do it. A leadoff single by the pitcher Cashner as they strand a man.
Astros take on the Mariners. Come out early to enjoy dog-friendly activities like a pooch parade, vendors expo, and much more. Get Dog Day tickets today by visiting Astros.com/dogday.
We're in San Diego, and it's been everything advertised here for the 3 days, especially for the Astros bats. They have thoroughly enjoyed this trip. It's not like they have dropped the avalanche on anybody today, but they do lead 3-1. Dallas Keuchel on the mound. Bottom three in the order for Houston coming up here in the 7th inning. Jake Marisnick leads it off, 1 for 2 with a double. And Marisnick continues to swing it very well. 7-game hitting streak now. Had 2 hits yesterday, 1 in the opener in the series. The velocity on the fastball from Cashner has seen a drop off since the first couple of innings, but still very good stuff. He has that changeup he mixes in, a nice slider. Shaking his head, not getting the call on the change. And 2-1 the count. Jeff Blum was telling me before the game he got a chance to meet with some of the umpires and talking about the way they are consistently evaluated now. Fly ball to right field. Kemp with the play. Out number 1 here in the 7th inning, and the way it may be impacting the way they're calling ball games from behind the plate.
Yeah, it was a pretty interesting conversation. I'm actually relatively good friends with third base umpire Jim Reynolds today and second base umpire Paul Schreiber, and I just caught him in the hallways underneath, passing him a little bit, and they said, come on in. So I went to the umpire's room for the first time and actually talked to these guys a little bit. And with all the analytics and data crunching that is going on these days, these guys are being evaluated every single day on every play they have on the base pass, every pitch that is thrown when they're behind the plate. So there is critiquing going on a daily basis, and I believe they said they're getting graded on those things too. They get an email, printouts, I mean the whole 9 yards. So these guys are under the microscope, and that, for us, you and I, Ash, it explains why the corners are so tight, but explains why the zone is expanding up and down.
Exactly, as the ground ball goes to the right side. Shift on, the shortstop Harmless with the play. Conger grounds out. He's 0 for 2, and now with 2 outs and the bases empty, Dallas Keuchel comes to the plate. And I say, why not? Players are graded the same way all the time. If they don't get the job done, bring on somebody else. And I'm glad to see it happen with the umpires, and I think you are exactly right with the top and bottom of the strike zone now coming back into play the way it should be. Dallas Keuchel has struck out looking twice. Pretty good swing.
Real good swing. And let me also say that those are 2 great guys. Just talking to them, and that's what happens. That's the beauty of playing on the infield for me, is that you have the ability to be 10 or 15 feet away from these guys calling a big league game, and you get to have a conversation with them.
Dallas Keuchel has the first hit for an Astros pitcher this year. Grounding one up the middle, just a chopper over the mound, and Dallas Keuchel showing that he can swing the wood.
Not as hard as Cashner's, but a little bit of payback. Turn that lineup over and see what Dallas can do on the base pass. Actually a pretty decent, nice little short stroke. I think Padre pitchers are going to talk to the grounds crew and have them put a little extra water out in front of home plate. What do you think?
High chopper by Marisnik over the third baseman for a double early in the ball game. Yeah,
that's soften that thing up.
That sounds really hard coming off that area, doesn't it?
And again, playing here with the great Greg Maddux. That was one of the things you knew he was pitching when the groundskeeper would be out there hosing off the front of the plate.
Altuve hits it in the air center field. That's a third out. Dallas Keuchel went halfway just to make sure they weren't going to utilize 4 outs.
When Tony Gwynn picked up hit 1,000 off the Astros, Nolan Ryan. Pretty nice drop shot right there.
Yeah, I think I must have gotten shaken off on that that particular pitch.
How dare you?
So this guy earned a statue for that kind of hit?
For about 3,000 plus of those hits. Mr. Padre.
What a player.
Great shot. That's actually a pretty good statue of contact right there for Tony Gwynn.
Yes, it is.
goodness.
What do you think of that comparison?
That's amazing. I think it's great that Jose Altuve is playing well enough to actually be compared to this guy early in Altuve's career, but what a guy to try and match up against. That contact percentage is extremely high for Altuve, but look at what Tony Gwynn did. He exceeded it, going up over 93%. Are you kidding me with the number of swings and the amount of time he made contact? Wow. That's unreal.
Top 5 all-time Tony Gwynn in terms of that contact percentage. Wade Boggs, did I hear number 1? Now, Wade not only didn't swing and miss, he didn't swing and pop it up.
Ever.
I mean, he went one entire season where I believe he had 1 or 2 pop-ups over the course of the year.
Joey Votto was putting up numbers like that, too. They had a number on him in like 3 or 4 years, never popped up once in the infield.
I don't know how it's possible. Got some numbers I want to get to on Altuve in just a moment as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. The Astros leading it 3-1 behind Dallas Keuchel, who, by the way, with that base hit, picked up his 3rd major league hit. Keuchel now 3 for 25 and first hit since 2012 for Dallas. But now the more important matter is the work from the mound. Pitch just inside. It's a ball on the strike. That's close. Justin Upton at the plate. Home plate umpire puts the nose on the corner and then gets backed away by the catcher, so things change at that point.
Wow. Dugouts here at Petco are basically behind the hitters, and Justin Upton just turned on one and put it in the dugout.
I say thank goodness dugout and not to the folks right above the dugout. Justin Upton 0 for 2 on the day, 21,824 on hand. And that was 21,824 more than they had in Baltimore today.
It's very astute of you to see that, Ash. Nice work.
It's the kind of math that not everybody has perfected. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Oh.
Man, Keuchel would love to have that one, huh?
Got to see me some strike zone right there. Does this one miss? Yes, I guess it does. Right on the fist, looper to second base. So the count went to 3-2 as Dallas gets pressed again, but he eventually gets that out. And now has an out here in the 7th inning. Mention Jose Altuve with the bat. And for those of you wondering about how what he's been doing this year compares with last year, he has 32 hits. He's in his 21st game of the year. Last year, through 21 games, he had just 22 hits. Keep in mind, he won the batting title with 225 hits on the course of the year. So Altuve is way in front of that pace from last year. And last year, he was hitting 265 at the time through 21 games. He is well over the 340 mark this year and just sailing along.
So you're saying he's better than he was last year?
10 hits better through 21 games. And he hasn't finished his 21st yet, but it will pop up. Altuve. It's pretty good with the glove, too, as he makes the play. And the second out here in the inning.
A good job of getting inside on these hitters. Granted, he's not getting some of the calls, but you can see when you're living on the edge like that, the benefit of the doubt is going to go your way, and the hitter's going to try and fight those off. But Padre hitters are not doing a very good job this afternoon.
I'll tell you, it's tough as a pitcher-catcher combination to keep coming in when you don't get calls. But as you said, it's a mandate that you do so. 2 outs for Jerko, the second baseman. Signed a big contract as a young player here in San Diego, and for the moment not living up to the terms of that deal in terms of success anyway on the field. Jerko 0 for 2 on the day. The batting average at 137. Pretty quick bat right there.
Thayer in the San Diego Padre bullpen. Neshek and Qualls in the Houston Astros bullpen. So we've got some activity going on down there.
Dallas Keuchel probably in his last inning. That's the 103rd pitch. He can play some D, and he makes a nice one. And a 1-2-3 7th inning. Dallas Keuchel has allowed just one base runner since the first inning.
Take on the Mariners. 10,000 fans will receive a Jose Altuve hit counter bobblehead presented by Goya. For more info, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Guys, I'm at the beach. No, there's no water around, but right field is right to my left here. This is pretty cool. They do call this area the beach. Kids are having a great time, and I'm learning that the cool thing to do, what the cool kids are doing is they're filling their buckets with sand. All I need is some water, guys. I could build some sweet sand castles.
It's a rough gig, isn't it?
Good work by Julia. She seeks out all the tough assignments at the ballparks, and she gets it done again. Marwin Gonzalez will lead off here in the 8th inning. Dallas Keuchel doing his thing, leads 3-1 through 7 innings. Just 3 San Diego hits, and 2 of those coming back in the first inning. A leadoff single by the pitcher Andrew Kashner in the 6th inning, the only base runner against Dallas since 1 out in the first inning. It's just phenomenal work. Has not walked a man today. And we'll see if he comes back out. 104 pitches on the afternoon for Dallas. And now right-hander Dale Thayer comes on to pitch for the Pods. And this one hit high and deep down the right field side. At the pole, it goes foul. Marwin Gonzalez launches this towering shot.
It's close.
By the way, Andrew Kashner done with his day's work, 7 innings. Thoroughly impressed. I thought he really showed great stuff, especially early on. Marwin with 2 balls and a strike on him. And that one not close, so 3-1. The Astros could use an inning here.
Nice to pick up a couple more runs. As you see Dale Thayer making his 9th appearance. Good ERA, fastball, slider, changeup.
And Marwin draws the walk. As we glance at the bullpen for the Astros, no activity at the moment. Does that say that Dallas Keuchel runs out there for an 8th inning?
Be.
San Diego bullpen in the series has had a rough go.
My goodness. This being the 3rd game of the series, and already it's the first time we see their bullpen today, but 16 runs in those first 2 games given up by that San Diego bullpen.
That's not going to help your season stats as a group. Luis Valbuena has a double in 3 at-bats. Pops it up. That'll be back in the seats. First row behind the dugout. Not a bunch of great hands as the ball drops and rolls into the Astros dugout. Shame is had everywhere.
Second chance works out a little bit better.
She would have made the play anyway, so it's a wise choice. Marwin at first. Not one of the base stealers the Astros rely on, that's for certain. But a big hole on the right side for Valbuena. But he pops it up. Second baseman Jerko backing on the outfield grass. Makes the catch, and out number 1. But it's a very different ball game. With the 3-1 score, just 9 hits between the two clubs, the Astros with 6 of them. A well-pitched day. And again, now the intrigue as to how far Dallas Keuchel can go. George Springer is 1 for 3 with a double. He scored a run. His 5th double of the year.
Got to give more credit to Dallas Keuchel too. When you're the opening day starter, you usually match up against those aces across the league, and that's what he's done in his first 5 starts, is matched up with each team's ace that he's faced. So you look at the numbers he's doing and look at the guys he's beating, it's pretty impressive.
And again, he could very well, maybe should be 4-0 coming into today's start.
So true.
Springer with a big swing, fouls it off. 0-2 the count on George. Colby Rasmus waits on deck.
Well, the run support that Dallas Keuchel is getting is by far the least on the starting rotation. He's averaging 2.48 runs per start. So they've well exceeded that by giving him 3.
It's a big day offensively with Springer, or make that Keuchel on the mound. George takes low. 1-2 the count. Well, it's not over for Dallas or the Astros this afternoon, but Keuchel again came into today's start with 11 consecutive quality starts. Springer lays off. And a 2-2 count. Fastball there at 92 from Thayer. George Springer last year in 78 games, 20 bombs. Well behind that pace this year, but when he gets it going, it comes about as fast as you can see from any player in the big leagues. Very physically talented young man. Half swing. They appeal. Do not get it. First base umpire Manny Gonzalez with the palms down. Springer did a nice job keeping the hands ahead of the barrel there.
Did do a good job.
It would appear they're trying to work him up. Fastball is hit high in the air, right field. Coming in on a long run by Will Myers as he cuts in front of Kemp to make the play. Second out in the 8th. Well, that play right there might say that Will Myers is the guy that's been told to take as much territory as he can possibly take. Colby Rasmus 1 for 3. That one a big one, a 2-run home run in the 4th inning. It took a 1-1 game, made it 3-1 Houston. That's where we stand. So the big difference maker in the game. 4th bomb of the year for Colby. And the shift on, 3 infielders on the right side, leaving only Middlebrooks on the left. It's a common occurrence now in Major League Baseball. When will the hitters start working in batting practice trying to hit ground balls to the other side?
This is last season's hit chart heat map on Colby Rasmus. We already seen that he likes to pull the ball quite a bit. And this is just more evidence for why the shift is on when Colby Rasmus is at the plate.
Colby has not had a hit to left field this year. There's not much reason to do anything but exactly what you see on the field defensively against Rasmus.
Definitely increasing your odds, huh?
Unless you can put one of your defenders out in the seats in right field somewhere.
Well, didn't they try and shift on Ted Williams back in the day, and he just said, I'll just hit it over him?
He hit it through him, apparently just scorching line drive after line drive. You're right. I don't know. Is there a hitter that you would put in anywhere close to that category in today's world?
Nope.
There goes Marwin as the pitch is fouled off. Looked like Colby was either shooting toward left field or just tardy on that pitch.
Yeah, letting the ball get a little bit deeper than normal. I just think it's interesting that some of the better hitters in the league now are right-handed hitters. The Miguel Cabreras, Jose Altuve's.
Well, that's a good point. You know what you just did?
No.
You lumped Jose Altuve with Miguel Cabrera.
I did. Maybe not as far as power, but
a couple of batting champs, both from Venezuela. They've got some star power.
Well, how about the first 3 in the Astros lineup are all Venezuelan?
Altuve, Marwin Gonzalez, and Luis Valbuena.
Pretty good Venezuelan connection. They're going to start calling Venezuela the hit factory.
No kidding. They are really turning out some players that can swing the lumber. 3-2 the count. Solarte, the first baseman, playing back. There goes Marwin, as once again spoiling is Colby Rasmus.
Yeah, Marwin getting his wind sprints in.
Yeah, but I think that's worth commenting about. Jose Altuve, yeah, he's won a batting title. He's won a stolen base title. He's a whale of a player, and everybody is learning what a great hitter he is. But already being mentioned now with Miguel Cabrera.
Paul Goldschmidt, right-handed hitter.
Yes.
DJ LeMahieu is a right-handed hitter for the Rockies, leading the league in hitting.
Again, Marwin on the move. Ball hit in the air, right field. Kemp is under. The glass is gleaming. He makes the catch, and that'll do it. The leadoff walk is stranded. We played 7.5, 3-1 Houston. 104 pitches, he's going to extend things, and boy, has he been good.
He's going to earn the nickname Mad Max because he's a pretty good road warrior. We hit on it early in the pregame, and he's lived up to it here, facing a great right-handed lineup for the San Diego Padres. Got roughed up a little bit in that first inning, but just continues to go out there and grind away in the inside, outside corners, getting all those ground balls. Shows you why he got that Gold Glove last year.
You know what we haven't talked about a lot with the Astros and their success this year is the ground ball goes to Altuve. And 1 pitch, 1 out. So 105 pitches, 7 1/3 innings. And he would love to continue that trend. That was the 7-hitter Clint Barnes. The defense has been overlooked to this point for the club, and it's been really good.
Well, it's the last thing you look at when you know that the pitching has been phenomenal. The offense has been absolutely off the charts. So the defense is taking a little bit of the back seat, but you know when you're playing defense behind a guy like Dallas Keuchel, you have to be ready. Just anticipate the ground ball, and that's such a good feeling as a defender.
Back in the first inning, 19 pitches required by Keuchel, and it felt like, will he be able to get deep into this ball game? He had a 20-pitch inning mixed in. But Will Nieves, the 8-hitter, the catcher today, 0 for 2 on his day. And a pinch hitter waiting on deck as the Pods go to their bench. Derek Norris, the everyday catcher, has a bat.
I know it's not effortless for Dallas Keuchel to go out there, but at 106 pitches, he doesn't look taxed. He doesn't look exhausted. He just looks like he's the same guy inning to inning throwing the same pitches. Doesn't overexert himself too often. Doesn't let those high leverage situations get to him at all. Also helps when you go through the middle of the game going 15 or putting down 14 straight batters too.
1 base runner since Matt Kemp's run producing triple in the first inning. That is it. A single by the opposing pitcher Andrew Kashner in the 6th. And he was left at first base, by the way. And now a 2-2 count. This would seem to be one of those outs that Dallas has to be thinking, I've got to get this one right now. The 9 spot coming up next. And a chopper to third. With the glove, Valbuena makes the play. And that's good to see.
It's real good to see. Bring the whole family out to Minute Maid Park on select Sundays with Kroger Family 4-pack starting at $70. This special package includes 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 sodas, and a Lot C parking pass. Get your Kroger Family 4-pack for this Sunday's game against the Mariners by visiting Astros.com/value or calling 1-877-9-ASTROS.
It's taken 2 ground ball outs here in the 8th inning to get to 10 ground ball outs recorded by Dallas. But he's gotten once again into double figures. And now faces the pinch hitter Derek Norris. Good hitter. Norris hitting .316. And took a pitch right there that he may be wishing he had taken a swing at.
Talk about that defense behind Dallas Keuchel. Got to give a little bit of credit to Adam Everett, who did a good job in spring training getting these guys prepared. Never going to not take a chance to mention one of my old teammates, Ash.
Yeah. And a guy who can swing a golf club, by the way. That always impresses me.
You want to know where I saw him last?
Sure.
The Masters.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was just wandering around. We were over by Amen Corner. Turn the corner and I see his wife Jennifer, and I'm like, well, where's Adam? And sure enough, Adam right behind her. It's like old home week there in Augusta.
2-1 pitch is a strike. Well, I was certainly impressed last year with his golf game. He's got a great swing.
He does.
And he really does the job with the infielders like you talk about. 2-2 the count now on Norris. Pinch hitting with 2 outs and the bases empty in the 8th inning. What a job by Dallas Keuchel if he gets through this 8th inning. Ground ball to the right side. 11 ground ball outs. A 1-2-3 8th inning. Chad Qualls is loosening, so we're likely to see him as we go to the bottom of the 9th. But 3-1 Houston. Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare right now at southwest.com. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. Would you rather be there or at the ballpark watching Dallas Keuchel and his mastery over all major league hitters? And he's done it again today. He's allowed just 3 hits through 8 innings. He and his Astros lead it 3-1 here in the 9th inning, trying to sweep away the Padres and make it back-to-back sweeps, and 8 of 9 on a road trip. Craig Kimbrell comes on for the Pods here in the 9th.
Well, this is the situation you want to see Craig Kimbrell in if you're a Houston Astro fan or hitter. Not a save situation. In here to get some work done.
He can bring some cheddar.
Some jet fuel.
97 on the first offering. Chris Carter trying to extend a 7-game hitting streak. He is 0 for 3 with a couple of punch-outs.
Yeah, Kimbrell's averaging 97 miles an hour on the fastball. His curveball / slider slurve coming in there at 86 miles an hour.
By the way, Dallas Keuchel yielding a run today over 8 innings. And there you see it's now Luke Gregerson getting loose in the Astros pen for that 9th inning. Dallas Keuchel came in with an 0.62 ERA, gave up a run today, and has seen his ERA balloon to 0.73.
Boo!
Well, when a guy's deserving, he's deserving, right?
It's incredible.
0.73 through 5 starts.
It was like Altuve at the end of last year hitting 340. If he went 1 for 3, his average dropped.
It's insane.
It is.
And we've talked about that crazy stat that has just stuck in my head all the way. June 19th, he got above 330 and never followed a game going below 330. You can't do that, can you?
Well, one guy can, but it doesn't make any sense.
Carter takes a strike. It's 3-2 on Chris. The Astros trying to improve to 14-7. Heading back home tomorrow. It'll be Scott Feldman opposing Seattle and James Paxton, and Carter draws the leadoff walk in the 9th.
Tomorrow night's pitching matchup is presented by Chevron. Care for your car. Scott Feldman going out, back out to the hill. Had himself a good outing last time he was out there. Up in Oakland, pitching well in the O.Co., contributing to that series sweep. Going up against left-hander for the Seattle Mariners and Paxton. One of those youngsters with a good electric arm. Getting roughed up a little bit this part of the season. Could be good timing for the Astros bats to get going at home against him.
Jake Marisnick sees what some big-time gas looks like. What does that pose? We don't see it right now, but the Kimbrell pose when he looks in for the sign.
I don't know. Is there a name for that thing? I think it was in Philadelphia, and all the fans within the screenshot right here in the background were doing the same pose all at once. It was pretty funny, but
for some reason I thought I had heard in the past the Condor or something like that.
But the Condor, yeah, it makes sense.
Pitch down and away, gets away from Nieves to the backstop. Into second base is Carter. So the Astros have an opportunity to pick up a run man in scoring position and nobody out.
What I think is interesting is that this is a tighter ball game than we've seen the last 2 nights, and the Astros clearly look like the team with the edge. It almost looks as if the Padres have defeated themselves going up against Dallas Keuchel, who's pitching quite well.
It was a game that felt like it could have turned back in the first inning. A run in, 1 out. Matt Kemp had tripled. He was at third base. The cleanup man, Justin Upton, at the plate. And Dallas got in on the hands of Upton, got him to pop out for a key second out, and then got the 5-hitter Middlebrooks. And from there on, just flat dominated the Padres bats.
But I agree with you. I think you said it in between innings. That was the at-bat of the game.
Marisnick with a good swing, has a 1-2 count. Well, if the Pods had jumped on top 2-0 in the first inning, just by simply hitting a ground ball to short or second or a fly ball, and the way Cashner was throwing, by the way, Cashner struck out the first 6 he faced on the afternoon. It felt like it could have been a real tough uphill climb for the Astros bats. Another one gets by Nieves to the backstop. The first one a wild pitch. It is another wild pitch, and so Carter's into third base with nobody out.
Nieves having a tough time with the heat from Kimbrel and the breaking stuff from Kimbrel. Granted, they're not perfect pitches to try and block, but that's 2.
Well, you say thank you very much if you're the Astros, because this 4th run would be enormous for the club. No, you're not going to be on the flight this evening, but I think it has a chance to be a really nice one. Base hit to right field. RBI single. Carter went back to the bag and now sprints to the plate and slides to score. It is 4-1 Houston, and Jake Marisnick is playing some kind of baseball.
Proving to be a pretty good hitter here in the big leagues. A huge asset on this ball club too. Getting that insurance run, that makes the lead 4-1. Gives Luke Gregerson, when he comes in, a 3-run cushion. But these at bats late in games, and that's another run for the Houston Astros offense from the 6th inning on.
Well, hand it to Jeff Luhnow and staff for that acquisition of Marisnick last year. He has been just great.
Good grief, Will Nieves. He must have a tough time seeing the ball.
Yeah, this looks like a catcher that is in the major scuffle mode. Hank Conger at the plate, 0 for 2 with a walk. There goes Marisnick. He's after his 7th bag, and he's got it. And Will Nieves doesn't wind up with a pass ball here because it's a stolen base, but Nieves has apparently lost all confidence here in the inning.
Yeah, having never caught, at least in a big league game, thank goodness. You go look at Marisnick stealing yet another bag.
Would you ever get the yips on a ground ball?
I've had slumps on defense where I just was not comfortable, but not the yips, no.
Where you just start reaching for balls and you do it wrong time after time.
Yeah, I've been in plenty of situations where I just couldn't get my footwork done on some ground balls and just get eaten alive. So that's the similar situation behind the dish, huh? Not a good feeling.
Yeah, it's not good. And once you lose confidence, it doesn't get better from there. Pop up behind the plate. Nieves makes the catch. Out number 1 in the 9th. From the 6th on, the Astros pretty darn good.
Yeah, this is what we were talking about. Now remember, these numbers on this current road trip are from the 6th inning on. 37 runs scored, 317 batting average, 308 with runners in scoring position. We could go on, but that's pretty incredible stuff. And on the right-hand side, the bullpen shutting down opposing teams late in games, which lead to some of these series wins and possible sweep here in San Diego after sweeping the Oakland A's.
I always wonder about numbers like that, if there's any pure logic to them, or is it just coincidence that a club gets hot for a period of time? Pinch hitter now, it's Evan Gattis. There goes Marisnick. He's into third and will score on what likely will be an E2. Throw goes into left field. 8 stolen bases for Jake Marisnick. And the Astros have 3 guys at the top of the lead in that category. They lead 5-1. And Luke Gregerson no longer has a save opportunity.
And Will Nieves has got nothing going for him right now. Right-handed hitter. Smart move by Marisnick, stealing with the right-handed hitter up. And you see Will Nieves trying to throw around the hitter. Gattis ducking out of the way, but I believe as long as he stays inside that box, it's his territory to hold on to. But I think that was a ball that Will Middlebrooks had a real good chance to catch.
I agree. The hitter does not have to move. He just can't intentionally move in the way of the catcher, but he can stand his ground.
2 bags for Marisnick.
Gaddis, a looper. That'll drop for a hit. Soft line drive off of Kimbrel, and the Astros have put 2 on the board, have a second hit in the inning, and back to the top for Altuve. And Jake Marisnick is having fun.
These guys are electric right now. Manager Bud Black going out to, I believe, get Kimbrel. Don't want to have him throw too many pitches. He's getting his work in, but they've got to save him for the next series.
Yeah, it's about keeping the closer ready to go, but you don't want to abuse him either. And so the Pods go to their bullpen once again. But the Astros have done what the Pods probably were trying to stay away from in the 9th inning. They've added a pair, lead 5-1, and trying to make it 6 straight here on the West Coast trip. Inning as he hooked a home run, his 4th on the year, back in the 4th inning. 2-run job. It made it 3-1 Houston. Jake Marisnick has also stepped in and done very well.
Fantastic play on defense. We already knew that the Astros outfield was doing a great job of covering some ground, picking up his boy Dallas Keuchel, and right here driving in Chris Carter with a great base hit off the closer Craig Kimbrel. This would be his first stolen base here in the 9th inning. Put himself in scoring position, and then scored himself.
There's a shot down the right field side. Altuve has extra bases. Here comes being waved home. LJ Ho's the pinch runner, and he will score into third base. Altuve. That's 3 runs in the inning, and the Astros are really laying it on the Padres here in the 3rd and final game between the clubs on the year.
7th straight multi-hit game for Jose Altuve on top of everything else the man has been doing. Where do you play him? What do you pitch him? There's no book right now on Jose Altuve, because whatever you try to adjust to, he's gonna outmatch you and beat you with it.
Infield comes in, but it's already 6-1. Marwin Gonzalez at the plate takes a strike. So that was LJ Ho scoring, pinch running for Evan Gattis.
Shocking, another double for the Houston Astros.
10 extra base hits yesterday. Throw to the plate, and that was about as rough as a pitcher can make it on a catcher right there.
Oh boy.
Everybody's safe. Marlins at second base. The 4th run of the inning scores as Altuve comes in. And I got to tell you, Brandon Maurer, the new right-hander on the pitch for San Diego, just made as ugly a play to a catcher as you'll see.
This baseball's getting ugly. This is basically a swinging squeeze bunt right here, and Maurer thought he had a chance of going home, but just threw a long dart that Will Nieves had no shot at getting, and he's actually pretty lucky that Bombas got a glove on this ball and it didn't go into center field, allowing Marlin to get all the way to third. But not pretty baseball being played here in a gorgeous ballpark.
So an E1 puts Marwin at second. Wow. A 3-1 ball game coming into the ninth inning that still felt a little squeamish. But now the Astros make it 7-1, have a man in scoring position, 1 out. Luis Valbuena batting in that 3 spot today is 1 for 4 with a double.
This is truly incredible stuff we're watching here in the last road trip.
You know, it's the Astros playing well, but in a circumstance like this where the Padres just come unraveled with the catcher and the pitcher making that play, and is it the heat being put on by Houston?
That's exactly what I was just going to say. It is the pressure that these Astros are putting on them, the at-bats they're putting on them. It's the oppressive pitching that they're going out there with, and the base running.
Fly ball to left field. Oppressive pitching, I like that.
They're just not allowing anybody to come up for air. They just continue to keep them held underwater and just keep bashing them. But how about the speed alone is causing some serious defensive woes here in San Diego.
Agreed. The Astros have just run wild. And they've done it on both Norris and Nieves now.
So 9 runs on Monday, 14 runs on Tuesday, 7 runs here. You'd think we were playing back home in Minute Maid, not Petco.
And this is the Cashner game that started with the first 6 hitters striking out. Fly ball center field. Will Myers has a beat on it. He makes the catch. Springer flies out, the 8th hitter of the inning. But the Astros put 4 on the board going to the bottom of the 9th inning. 7-1 Houston. Some unhittable stuff in his no-hitter against the Giants. Terry Poole tracking down everything in sight. That was a little earlier on, but Jose Cruz could swing it with the best of them. Joe Negro in that knuckleball. If it looks like it might be a little tough on TV, go try it yourself. It was pure filth. And Evan Gattis has added in this year's version.
Yeah, breaking out the whooping stick here at Petco Park. Trying to match that great year in 1986 for the Houston Astros, led to that phenomenal series against the Mets in the NLCS. Not a bad team to try and match up with, but here in San Diego, they were just tearing the cover off the ball. Extra base hits galore to be had by the Houston Astros.
1986, the reason for the comparison. Last year, the Astros went 9-2 to start the season out on the road, and that's what the Astros are very close now to wrapping up as they go after their 14th win of the year against 7 losses. Luke Gregerson comes on for the 9th.
You ready for a number?
Sure.
Padres have allowed more runs in this series than in the last 6 games. 30 runs allowed in this series, 28 runs in the last 6 games.
What do you do if you're Bud Black, the manager? Just go in and say, hey, guys, forget about the last 3 days. Let's go start playing the kind of baseball that we're accustomed to playing.
There you go, try and find Will Smith from Men in Black and bring out that, that neuralizer and just go zap.
That's a good answer.
Wow.
Luke Gregerson, no shot for a save here, just trying to get some work in and keep it right here. 7-1. 3 Padre hits. They had 2 hits after 3 hitters today. Little pop-up, shallow down the right field side. Carter, and drops it. It's a fair ball. And into second base, Will Myers.
I'd like to see a little more urgency out of the first baseman, Chris Carter, kind of drifting to this ball. Too far for Jose Altuve to get to it. But this is the hard part about transplanting an outfielder into first base. That ball clearly in fair territory. Good call. Hope this doesn't lead to a big inning.
So Myers aboard at second instead of it being 1 out. Yangervis Solarte 0 for 3 on his day. Dallas Keuchel in position to win his 3rd of the year. Ground ball hit to short. That'll move the runner up. Marwin makes the sure play, and out number 1. And we're checking with Julia once again.
Hey guys, you were getting us ready for Scott Feldman tomorrow against Seattle. That next start, though, still up in the air, although I have a feeling that A.J. Hinch knows what he wants to do. He said a lot of it had to do with today and if he needed to use a guy like Sam Duduno, so you can expect maybe to see him. Also, Jake Buchanan was an option for that Friday start in AAA Fresno right now. Some news, though, Oberholzer working his way back, going to have a rehab start tomorrow with AAA Fresno. He could be somebody that they look at for maybe that next rotation, guys.
Thanks, Julia. And you're looking there at Dallas Keuchel, who has turned into one of the game's premier left-handers, without question. Infield playing back. They'll give up the run. A.J. Hinch. What exactly would A.J. be telling Dallas Keuchel at that point?
I love you.
That would be probably where I would start.
You're my favorite.
Remember that ground ball you gave up over there? That was the one that really impressed me, but maybe not as much as that little ground ball over there. Broken bat, ground ball to third. The barrel end goes flying, but Valbuena stays focused and gets the out. Scoring from third base is Myers. An unearned run. It's now 7-2 Astros, but 2 outs here in the 9th inning, 1 out away from the Astros making it 6 straight wins, 2 straight sweeps, 8 of 9 on the West Coast swing.
Barrel went farther than the ball. And I've been down there at third base. When that barrel comes flying at you and the ground ball too, not a comfortable feeling.
What of all those numbers maybe impresses you most?
Every one of them. It's incredible. Not typical for a team to go on the road and dominate like they are. But to do stuff that you've never done, that's what's most impressive. Never swept the Oakland A's. Boom, they do it. Never had a record of 8-1 on a 9-game road trip. Boom, they're doing it.
Last time they swept the Padres, 1982.
And there's that. So there's some history being made on this road trip. Dallas might be talking to AJ going, man, I could have gone a complete game.
They continue their conversation down in the dugout.
Or he might be asking to pitch tomorrow. Oh boy.
Wow.
What are you doing, man?
There's a fan that reached out and put his hand on that wicked laser. Down to a strike, 2-2 the count. Hit in the air, this is going to do it. Jake Marisnick is there. He makes the catch. The Astros sweep away the Padres. The Astros are now 14-7 through 21 games. Dallas Keuchel wins his third of the year as he is 3-0. And I don't know what you add to this, Plummer, but this is great stuff from the Astros.
It's fantastic. It's been fun to watch. They've been doing it in every aspect of the game. Going to get no complaints from me. I just hope that they take this on the plane with them back to Houston.
Well, there's a happy bunch, and it's not going to stop anytime soon.